Ding. Detected that the host is watching this video. Do you want to bind the life cashback system immediately? Upon successful binding, the minimum cashback multiplier is 5 times, with no upper limit. Cost, 3 dog head emojis. Bind now? Ding. The life cashback system is binding. System binding successful. Do you want to activate it immediately? After watching the video, I smiled bitterly and muttered to myself, how did I even stumble upon such a boring video? But my hand uncontrollably sent 3 dog head emojis. The next second, I actually obtained the system with a minimum 5x cashback and no upper limit. At that moment, I was paying for my nephew Lin Longlong's toys. At the mall toy store, the cashier packed up the 2 toy cars Lang Lang had picked and said, "That'll be 156 yuan total. How would you like to pay?" She scanned my QR code, and 156 yuan was deducted from my ICBC card. Immediately after, 15,600 yuan arrived in my account. Before I could react, a few lines of text appeared out of thin air in front of me. Host bought toys for nephew, triggering 100x cashback. 15,600 yuan has been deposited. The news was too shocking. I suppressed my astonishment, picked up the bag, and left the toy store with Lin Lang Lang. Lin Lang Lang reached out ingratiatingly to take the bag. "Uncle, let me carry it." I handed it to him. Then I sat down with him on a bench in the mall to calm my excitement. I'm an online novel writer. I'm no stranger to systems, but I never expected a real system to fall into my lap. I used to be pretty laid back about my future. Almost ready to give up, but with this cashback system I felt so thrilled inside. Just then, my phone rang. It was Yang Shui calling. His voice was low, like he was talking outside a meeting room. "Yang. Sorry, plans changed. I have to work until evening now. Can you take Lang Lang out for dinner? I'll transfer you 300 yuan on Alipay, but you tell me if you're okay with it before I send it." Hearing that, I almost blurted out, "Perfect." Luckily, I controlled myself and said, "Sis, focus on your work. I actually wanted to spend more time with Lang Lang outside anyway. An uncle treating his nephew to dinner, how could I take your money?" I immediately transferred the money back. "Don't send it to me again." Yang Shui paused. Then said helplessly, "When your brother-in-law gets back, let's have dinner together this Friday." "Don't refuse then." I replied, "Okay," and hung up. I transferred the money back and explained the situation to Lin Lang Lang. "Lang Lang, what do you want to eat tonight?" Lang Lang stared at the mall's billboard. "Pizza Hut, I'm craving it." Pizza Hut it is. Guess no matter how many years pass, Western fast food is still kids' favorite. I texted my parents that I'd be taking Lang Lang out for dinner, then took my nephew to the Pizza Hut. In the mall, I deliberately ordered extra and even packed some to go. The total came to 246 yuan. After payment, the system triggered another 100x cashback. 24,600 yuan was deposited into my bank account. In just 2 hours, I'd earned the equivalent of more than half a year's royalties. The system's magic was truly addictive. After handing Lin Lang Lang over to Yang Shui, who got off work, I drove home and said to my parents with a joyful face, "Guess what? I've got amazing news for you." My mother Huang Ping, who was watching TV, asked, "What's up? Did your novel do well?" "Mom, you're so smart." I flattered her quickly, "But it's even better than you think. My editor told me a company wants to buy the rights to my novel for adaptation. I'll have a huge income next month." "Oh, that really is good news." Yang Jun looked up and asked, "How much will you get?" "At least 7 figures, I said. Yang Jun was surprised. "That much?" My parents knew my monthly royalty income, and I definitely reported it higher. Luckily, I used to be shy and insecure, so I never told them the title of my novel. Otherwise, I'd be caught red-handed right now. Huang Ping said approvingly, "You've got some luck. I heard Joy of Life's book was only able to get adapted like that." "Yeah, when I first got the call from my editor, I couldn't believe it either." I gave a relieved smile. Even now, I still feel a bit dazed. "I want to treat everyone to dinner this weekend to celebrate early. What do you think?" "You're 30 now, you can decide for yourself," Yang Jun said. "But I suggest you don't bring up the copyright fee yet. After all, the money isn't in hand. If something goes wrong, wouldn't that be embarrassing?" I nodded. "Okay, Dad. I'll listen to you." On Saturday evening, our family of 3 and relatives gathered in a large private room with 2 dining tables. My brother-in-law 01, who had dinner with me yesterday, looked at the 2 bottles of Wuliang Ya on each table and couldn't help asking, "Yang Xiao, what's the happy occasion today?" I grinned and said, hee hee. I'll keep it a secret for now. I'll tell everyone then. Today, I specially going to the premium supermarket to buy Wuliang, for bottles cost 4,752 yuan, and the system gave a 5 times rebate. That's 23,760 yuan total. When I said that, all the relatives got curious. Many relatives guessed if I had a girlfriend. After I denied it, Lin Langlang suddenly stood up and said, Uncle, how about I introduce teacher Huang to you as a girlfriend? She's really gentle. And she's nice to me too. I never expected to end up relying on my elementary school-aged nephew to play matchmaker. Just think, the last time I was in love was back in college. I'm an ordinary person, and I've always had dreams about love. But in recent years, because my income wasn't enough, whenever I met a girl I liked, I had to let go on my own. Now that I have the system, I don't have to worry about money, so finding love is just right. As I was thinking, Lin Langlang pointed at my face and said, Uncle, your face is turning red. I coughed and put on my elder authority. No, it's not red. My face is naturally like this. Yang Shui chimed in, little bro, how about I help set you up? Teacher Huang is really a good person and very patient. Then Huang Ping spoke up, wait a minute, you all. I instantly breathed a sigh of relief. Sure enough, when it counts, your own mom steps in to save you. But what Huang Ping said next made the atmosphere completely lose control. Huang Ping asked very seriously, are you sure teacher Huang is single? I coughed twice and was about to lean back in my chair, but the mood in the private room suddenly exploded. The relatives eagerly asked Yang Shui for a photo of teacher Huang. My younger cousin even asked about teacher Huang's zodiac sign, saying she'd do a fortune reading for me. In that warm, harmonious atmosphere, I eventually started laughing along. No one was deliberately pushing marriage, it was just good-natured teasing. The bonds of blood really can make you genuinely happy. After the family had eaten and drunk their fill, I went to the front desk ahead of time to pay the bill. The waiter smiled and handed me the receipt. Sir, for 2 tables in the private room, the total is 3,700 yuan. We'll charge you 3,666. Wishing you a smooth and happy life. Is that okay? I paused and said, sure, thanks for that. With the rebate system in place, I actually wanted to pay the full 3,700, but turning down the restaurant's goodwill would be too odd. Besides, there'll be plenty more rebate opportunities, so no need to get hung up on this. After the payment went through, 366,600 yuan was instantly deposited into my bank account. Without a doubt, I triggered another 100 times rebate. My breathing suddenly quickened, this time I got an income that would normally take me years to earn. Who wouldn't be happy to cover years of progress in one go? Now I just hope to hold on to this happiness forever. Although for the first time my card had over 500,000 yuan in savings, I didn't rush to spend it. After all, I told my parents, the royalty money wouldn't arrive until next month. If I started spending recklessly now, I'd get caught too easily. Anyway, it was the end of the month anyway, a few days wouldn't matter. When July came, I arrived at Deji Plaza in the center of Jinglin. This was the most famous mall in Jinglin, with sales consistently in the top 10 among luxury malls nationwide. It had every brand of luxury goods you could imagine. Even one of its fancier restrooms had become a viral check-in spot. In the past, when I came here, I only dared to browse. But this time, I walked straight into the LV store that occupied the prime location on the first and second floors of the mall. As soon as I stepped inside, a tall, exquisitely dressed saleswoman greeted me with a smile. Hello, sir. I'm Sun Lu. How can I help you? I looked at her and said, well, I want to buy a bag for my mom. She's in her 50s. Can you recommend something suitable? Budget no more than 100,000 yuan. Back in college, I promised my mom that someday I'd buy her an expensive bag, but after starting work, that promise drifted further away. In the end, I shamelessly forgot about it. Now it was time to make good on that promise. After Sun Lu heard my request, her smile grew even brighter. Sir, please come with me. And may I ask how I should address you? As a saleswoman in a luxury store, she saw all kinds of customers every day and heard all kinds of talk. Based on her experience, a male customer like me, who came in alone with clear requirements, usually had a strong desire to buy and was a genuine customer with real needs. Plus, my calm expression made her think I dressed low-key but had solid finances. I had no idea what she was thinking. I just felt her attitude was good, not like the online rumors about luxury. Saleswomen rolling their eyes at people in casual clothes. So I replied, thank you. My surname is Yang. Under Sun Lu's guidance, I walked over to the handbag display counter and stared at the rows of bags, feeling a bit lost. Having to pick one myself was overwhelming. Sun Lu thought for a moment, then took down a classic patterned handbag from the shelf and enthusiastically introduced it. Mr. Yang, I recommend you start by looking at this Lori handbag. It's a very classic old-style pattern, versatile, and suitable for all ages. For someone like your mother, it adds a touch of elegance, and the interior is spacious, making it quite practical. The current price is 39,500 yuan. After showing me the inside of the bag, I had originally expected him to use a fashion show approach to showcase the item, but seeing how down-to-earth his little red book posts were, maybe these luxury brands aren't that untouchable after all. Sun Lu didn't push a bag that fit my 100,000 yuan budget. Instead, he recommended one that was both stylish and practical, which made me feel valued. Sun Lu watched my expression, and when he saw my gaze linger on the bag, he put away his phone and handed the bag to me with both hands. Mr. Yang, you can feel the weight of the bag. This one is very lightweight, easy to carry without any burden. No need to try it. I'll take it. I came back to my senses. And recommend a suitcase for me too. With plenty of interior space. My parents love traveling, and since I haven't even spent half of the 100,000 yuan budget, I might as well get a suitcase they can use. Sun Lu quickly replied, of course, Mr. Yang. He knew I wouldn't leave until I'd spent most of the budget. Soon, under his recommendation, I also bought a suitcase for 49,800 yuan. After Sun Lu packed up my purchases, he casually asked, Sir, would you like to browse a bit more? This year's impression menswear is quite good, and some autumn new arrivals are out too. I thought for a moment and nodded, sure, show me around. But first, settle this bill for me. After buying the brand name bag and suitcase I'd once only dreamed of, I felt a bit satisfied inside, but I was worried that paying both bills together might affect the system's cashback judgment. So I asked to pay separately. Sun Lu immediately responded, okay, sir. Will you be paying by card? I took out my ICBC card. Yes, by card. Alright, sir. That will be 89,300 yuan in total. Sun Lu took the card with both hands, processed the payment, and handed me the POS machine. Please enter your password. After I paid successfully, the words 5x cashback appeared before my eyes. With 2 chimes, my phone showed a deduction of 890,030 yuan and a deposit of 446,500 yuan. What a thrill! I glanced at my balance, now nearing 7 figures, smiled, and put away my card and phone. Under Sun Lu's lead, I headed to the second-floor menswear section. Just like the luggage area, the menswear section was well stocked. Too lazy to browse carefully, I said to Sun Lu, help me pick out some impression clothes and autumn jackets. I usually wear workwear and cardigans, nothing too flashy. Sun Lu replied, sure. Would you like to check out the short sleeves first? We have this year's new styles. I responded, honestly. The store doesn't have many short sleeve options. Mom and Dad came home from work with their cameras, and I took out the gifts I'd prepared for them from my room. I handed the luggage and watch to Mom and Dad. My first copyright payment came in. These are gifts for you. Mom looked at the 2 LV bags in front of her and asked, it arrived this quickly? I thought it usually came on the 12th. Copyright fees and manuscript fees are separate, so it came earlier. I was prepared and said quickly. Also, the copyright fee is split into several installments. The film adaptation and game adaptation are accounted for separately in the contract. My first payment was over 1 million, and that's just the small part. More will come in gradually. Mom blurted out in surprise, over 1 million is the small part. I smiled and said, yeah, just wait, you'll be living the good life. Do you remember when I said I'd get you an LV bag? Finally kept that promise. I don't remember, but thank you anyway. Mom said, touched. But don't buy us such expensive things in the future. Just save your money. Those 2 bags together must cost tens of thousands, right? I said, not that much, I got the basic models. My mom has always been frugal, spending no more than 10 yuan on lunch at the company cafeteria, so I didn't tell her the real price of the luggage. Dad, though, was more easygoing. A look of recollection crossed his face as he put on the new watch. But he said to Mom, if our son gives us gifts, we should accept them. He knows what he's doing at his age. I chimed in, exactly. Mom, try it on. I thought this bag looked really nice when I bought it. With me and Dad persuading her. Mom smiled and slung the bag over her shoulder. Dad opened the suitcase, gave it a look, and sat down on the couch, saying, "Yang Xiao. Thank you for the gift. Now let's talk business." Hearing that, Mom put down the new bag too. And sat beside Dad. I pulled up a chair and sat across from them. "What's the matter?" "Your mom and I planned to buy you an apartment a couple of years ago," Dad said. "Together, our two housing provident fund accounts have over 400,000. Our family savings can probably add up to about 900,000. Originally, we planned to pay the down payment for you first and then take out a loan for the apartment. We were just worried you'd feel pressured, so we never made up our minds. Now that you're financially well off, I want to hear your opinion. If you don't object, we'll contribute 900,000. You can handle the rest yourself." I'd originally thought I'd save up more reverse cash funds and get it done in one shot, buying a house for Mom and Dad. I never imagined that what I could only dream of, my parents had already been planning. Their love is truly selfless. Mom saw I wasn't saying anything and thought I was resistant. She also spoke up, "You haven't been in a relationship all these years. Your dad and I can more or less guess the reason. We're just ordinary people, we never demanded you stand out. But you need to settle down sooner or later. Even if the woman agrees to live with you after marriage, once you have a child, there won't be enough rooms. Housing prices have dropped over the past 2 years. Second-hand apartments that were 40,000 to 50,000 per square meter can now be bought for 20,000 to 30,000, and you can still negotiate. We don't know what the future holds. We just want to take advantage of our current ability to help you solve the housing problem." I was so moved I rubbed my nose. "This plan is fine for buying the apartment, but the title deed has to be in your names." I did this to see if having the house under my parents' names could trigger the system reverse cash. However, I wasn't sure this glitch would work. Even if buying the house doesn't trigger the reverse cash, I'm not afraid. As long as the system is still there, I can pay for it myself. For me, if I can't trigger the reverse cash, buying an ordinary second-hand apartment is meaningless. Since both of you agree, let's put the title deed in my name. Dad saw that Mom and I had different opinions and tried to smooth things over. "I think it doesn't matter whose name it's under. The house belongs to the family anyway. The priority is to buy the house. We'll still contribute 900,000, and Yang Xiao, you handle the rest. Your mom and I are close to retirement. We have pensions, and spending this money won't affect our life." I nodded and said I'd go along with them. Spending 900,000 of my parents' money made me very embarrassed, but with the system in place, I'll definitely repay them 100 or 1,000 times over in the future. Built in 2011. It has an elevator and full surrounding amenities. The apartment is on the 6th floor. We went to see it. The renovation is nice, ready to move in, and the complex is close to our home. It's a 10-minute walk. After you start a family, we can take care of you. Dad chimed in, "Right, living close makes it convenient to visit." As I listened to Mom and Dad introduce it, I also checked the selling price. This apartment is listed at 2.15 million. My parents are contributing 900,000. So I still need to come up with 1.25 million. Coincidentally, I have exactly 1.26 million in my card. I spoke up. "I think it's good too. How about we go see it another day? We've all seen it already." "You can go yourself. I'll contact the real estate agent," Dad said. "If you think it's suitable, you can decide on your own." The next morning, I drove to the Waylan Xinswa complex. I parked the car and had just opened the door when I heard someone greet me warmly, "Mr. Yang, I'm Li Xingtao. The agent who contacted you last night. Just call me Xiao Li." "Hello, I'm Yang Xiao. I'll just call you by your name," I said to Li Xingtao, who looked older than me. "Why don't you ride in my car into the complex? Aren't you hot in long sleeves on such a hot day?" "I have no choice, company policy. Sorry to trouble you," Li Xingtao said with a wry smile. This apartment faces north-south, 2 bedrooms and 2 living rooms. Perfect for a family of 3. It also has a balcony, and the windows don't face the main road, so it's well soundproofed. Led by Li Xingtao, I walked into the house and listened to him describe it like a treasure. "Look at the renovation, you can basically move right in. The furniture in the house is also included for the buyer." If I had seen this before I got the system, it would definitely have been my dream home. But now, what I care about most is whether buying this house will trigger the reverse cash. I said nothing, but Li Xingtao misunderstood. He gritted his teeth and said, "Mr. Yang, I'll be straight with you. The owner can drop the price by at most 120,000. Another buyer tried to haggle before, and the owner just stopped negotiating. I can, on my authority, have the manager reduce it by another 10,000 from the company. In my imagination, real estate transactions always require both sides to haggle back and forth for a long time to shave off a bit of money. And before coming, I looked up this complex online. The average price for second-hand apartments. Even if the homeowner's quoted price is 2.15 million, it's still lower than the average online price. Even so, the homeowner is willing to drop another 120,000, so I asked instinctively, "Is there any issue with the property title?" Li Xingtao quickly said absolutely not, and it could be verified anytime. "Alright, show me later," I said thoughtfully. "Whether to buy this house or not, I'll discuss it with my family and get back to you." For me, price doesn't matter, but 900,000 of the down payment was my parents' money. Even though Dad told me yesterday to handle it myself, I felt I should let them know. But then Li Xingtao said, "Mr. Yang, at most I can drop another 5,000, otherwise this deal is a loss for me." Seeing his eager expression, I nodded with mixed feelings. A lower price was good, but now I wanted the cash back even more. After finishing the property title procedures, I went home and contacted my parents on my phone. They both agreed to let me buy this house for 250,000. Unfortunately, my parents insisted on contributing 900,000. They were very firm, leaving no room for negotiation. In the end, I could only pay 1.115 million to close the deal on this second-hand house. After paying a 100,000 yuan deposit, Li Xingtao started handling the transfer procedures. A week later, the procedures were completed. I received a 900,000 transfer from my parents and swiped my card to pay the remaining 1,915,000. The moment I paid, system text appeared before me. Host purchases a house for his father. Spent 1.115 million, triggered 8x cashback, and received 8.92 million in cash. Then my phone received a notification that 8.92 million yuan had been deposited at the real estate agency. I glanced at my phone and used the excuse of taking a call. I had made a fortune. Even though I had expected it, I couldn't suppress my joy when that huge sum hit my account. How much more cashback would I get in the future? The more I thought about it, the more excited I got. I took a series of deep breaths to calm down, rubbed my face to adjust my expression, and returned to the room. "All the procedures are done. Let's go see our new house," I replied with a smile. "Sure, Dad." I knew this was a second-hand house, but to my parents, being able to help me solve my housing problem was a big relief. We called the original homeowner, who understood our family's feelings and kept offering congratulations. Everyone left the agency. The homeowner drove off in a Mercedes parked in the lot. Our family got into the Haval H6. As Dad started the car, Mom in the passenger seat suddenly asked, "Yang Jun, how much does a Mercedes cost? 4 or 500,000? Cheaper if it's second-hand," Dad replied with a smile. "What, you have your eye on this car?" Mom shook her head. "Just asking." From the back seat, I suggested, "Mom, Dad, let's have a nice meal to celebrate today." "My treat." Mom said, "Let's do dinner. We're tired from today's procedures. At noon, let's just eat near the new house." "Isn't that just near our old home?" Dad teased. "What, you bought a new house and now you look down on the old one?" Mom replied with a smile, "Look who's talking. I haven't seen you stop grinning." Watching my parents chat cheerfully, I smiled too. A new idea came to me. That evening, I took my parents to an upscale seafood restaurant. I used to be a struggling writer who wrote about wealthy protagonists. Although I never made it big, I learned a lot about high-end dining brands and signature dishes. Now that knowledge came in handy. In the private room, I directly asked the server, "What's the biggest king crab you have? Make it a 9-way feast set." The server said, "Sir, the biggest king crab in the restaurant today is about 12 pounds. I nodded. "That's the one. Is it live?" The server replied, "Of course. We'll bring the king crab out right away and weigh it in front of you. You can mark it." I responded, "Great, thank you." The server said, "You're welcome. I'll have someone catch the crab." After the server left, Mom asked, "Yang Xiao, can we finish such a big crab? You just paid for the house. Do you have enough money left?" "Mom, this crab looks big, but the shell accounts for a lot of the weight." "Don't worry about money," I said with a smile. "Our second batch of royalties has come in. This time it's the big chunk, over 6 million. If it weren't for waste, we'd each order a crab today." 6 million? Your mom and I worked a lifetime and never made that much money. Dad sighed. Son, you're really accomplished. I took the chance to add. How about I get you a new car? The Havel has been around for so many years. It's time for a new one. No rush on the car. I'm fine with the Havel. Dad, I'll give you a task. Your mom and I are leaving for a trip tomorrow. We'll be gone about a week. I hope when we come back, you've moved out. Okay, got it. I didn't object to Dad's suggestion that I live alone. I also need some private space. My dad's words caught me off guard. My mom stopped talking, and we definitely want you to move out. Now that you have the means, you should try living on your own. I understand. Thank you for putting up with me all these years. I nodded seriously. Changing the subject, I said, Mom and Dad, why are you leaving so suddenly? Let me buy your train tickets. And book a hotel. My parents don't like flying and mostly take high-speed rail when traveling. Dad insisted Mom had wanted to go for a long time. And he even wanted to stay overnight in the desert. I said he was just asking for trouble. Dad joked, it's not your money. We've already booked the tickets and hotel. Mom said with a smile. We originally planned to go in early July. Before he finished, the waiter opened the private room door. 2 waiters brought in an electronic scale and a box. And a chef carefully placed a king crab on the scale. Our whole family's attention was instantly drawn to the huge king crab. Mom even pulled out her phone and snapped a photo. The chef pointed at the numbers on the scale and said, Dear guests, it's 12 Jean 6 Liang total. Is this acceptable? I immediately said yes. After we finished our feast, I walked out of the restaurant with a bill for 4,300 yuan and a cashback of 86,000 yuan. The next day at noon, I drove my parents to the high-speed rail station and then started moving. 2 days later, I successfully moved into my new home at Tonghao Network. At this point, I regretted lowballing the copyright income to my parents. I never expected to accumulate nearly 10 million in wealth this fast. I'll need to come up with an explanation later. Wealth is growing, but before that, I want to enjoy the pleasure of spending. Ever since that night at NVK TV, I realized my previous laid-back lifestyle might have been a passive choice. Now I want to say, I'm up, and I can still do something smart. While moving, I called the Porsche 4S store and scheduled a test drive for the 911. Buying a car more expensive than a house is way too flashy. A fully loaded luxury 911 can cost several million. But as long as I insist it's the base model at 1 million, outsiders won't know the difference. So buying a 911 suits my current situation better. Anyway, I don't plan to own just one car. In the future, I can collect them like my nephew Lin Lang Lang collects toy cars. Drive the cars I like? When I took a cab to the Porsche 4S store, I saw a female saleswoman standing at the door looking around. Her long hair was dyed light blonde, and she wore a gray-blue shirt that looked like a bank uniform. As I approached, she asked tentatively, Hello, are you Mr. Yang who booked the test drive? Yes, I'm the one who scheduled the test drive for the 911. Are you Pan Yujing? I knew the saleswoman's name when I booked the test drive. Pan Yujing bowed slightly and said, Yes, just call me Xiao Pan. With a professional smile, she said, Mr. Yang, I'll take you for the test drive now, but first, please show me your driver's license. I went to test drive the Porsche 911. The saleswoman Pan Yujing kept explaining things in the car. She said this was the 23 model turbo, with a 3.0 displacement, 120 kilograms heavier than the standard 911. Also, it's four-wheel drive for safety, though the power is slightly lower. It does 0 to 100 km per hour in about 4 seconds. If you want better performance, you can choose the Turbo 4. It can do 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.5 seconds. As I drove, I occasionally glanced at the passenger seat, including Pan Yujing's long legs, and asked her, Got a cigarette? Not the convertible. I don't care much about 0-100 acceleration, because in the Ling City area, traffic is so congested that even a car that does 0-100 in 1 second is useless. We had just driven out of the dealership for over a kilometer and already waited through 3 red lights. The throttle and brake were a bit heavy, but I could handle it. Since that's the case, I'll buy it. What I care about most is the 911's appearance. I really like its elegant, retro style. Pan Yujing was taken aback for a moment. Then quickly said, the store has a 23 model in stock, a hardtop convertible in the 4S trim. If you need it, we can expedite the process. Delivery within 4 months at most. I shook my head and said that's too long. Let's go with the 23 model. Then I signaled and turned around to head back to the dealership. In the 4S store office, Pan Yujing placed the contract in front of me. She said, including optional extras, the final price is 1,894,361 yuan. I'll round it down to 1.89 million. I sipped the Porsche-branded bottled water and looked over the contract. The 911 at the dealership was a two-tone sports car GT, with silver paintwork paired with Bordeaux red, and the interior was also Bordeaux red. Though red on its own looks tacky, on a Porsche it has a certain charm. I didn't change the interior. I also selected some extras like sports exhaust and a Bose sound system, then finalized the contract. I took out my bank card. When Pan Yujing saw my black wallet, she took the card with both hands. Handing over the card machine, Pan Yujing said happily, "Mr. Yang, you can pick up the car the day after tomorrow." From test drive to payment, it only took me 45 minutes to close a deal worth nearly 2 million. Pan Yujing had seen plenty of wealthy people, but he still thought I was decisive, and seeing that I was young and rich, with an extraordinary appearance, he had some ideas in mind. I didn't pay attention to his gaze. I asked him to find a document folder to put the contract away. Pan Yujing smiled and brought the folder. After putting away the contract, he crouched beside me and asked if I had any plans for the evening. He wanted to invite me to dinner to show his gratitude. I was momentarily stunned, not because he was treating me to dinner, but because I found it strange. When I used to work, closing a deal worth hundreds of thousands meant I had to treat clients to dinner. I couldn't even remember the last time someone of a similar age and opposite gender had invited me out alone for a meal. It had been that long. Pan Yujing took the opportunity to add me on his phone and showed me the restaurants he had saved. He asked me to pick one. I randomly chose one, and Pan Yujing added me on WeChat. The contract wasn't convenient to carry, but this book was quite interesting, Pan Yujing said. He was worried I'd get bored waiting, so he kept checking the time while touching up his makeup. That's when I noticed. His makeup was more refined now. Pan Yujing said, "Let's go." He'd drive. He took me to the restaurant. I closed the magazine and stood up. Under Pan Yujing's lead, we went from the back door to the parking lot. Pan Yujing unlocked a Miami blue Porsche model. I looked at him curiously. He smiled and said he couldn't afford such an expensive car. It was a company car, only used for entertaining important clients. Thanks to me, he was able to get the keys. I nodded and got into the passenger seat. Having a leggy beauty as a driver was quite a novelty. During evening rush hour, the car couldn't go fast. While waiting at traffic lights and crossing intersections, I felt someone curiously peering into the car. Pan Yujing's dress was a bit loose, and I couldn't help but catch an occasional glimpse of a subtle cleavage. The restaurant I randomly chose was a high-end steakhouse in the Heshi Mall. The aging cabinet was full of steaks. Sommeliers and waitstaff moved through the space. A pianist played, and the atmosphere was romantic. There was bread on the table in front of me. Butter, ham, and olives. A little red wine in the stem glass. The lamplight shone through, casting a ruby blue color from the glass onto the tablecloth. Pan Yujing sat across from me, constantly finding topics to chat about. There was a faint scent of perfume in the air. He had a broad range of knowledge, able to talk about anything. He was very interested in photography and travel, and showed me his travel photos and travel itineraries. Pan Yujing said if I were to travel to Chengdu, I could first fly to Chongqing, then take the high-speed rail to Chengdu. He said Chongqing was fun. The food was delicious and affordable, and a direct flight from Jinling to Chengdu might be more expensive than flying to Chongqing and then taking the high-speed rail to Chengdu. I raised my glass and said thanks. If I had enough time, I'd consider the route he recommended. When Pan Yujing ordered, he opened a bottle of red wine and said he'd call a designated driver, so I had no worries. Then he recommended some restaurants in Chongqing, mentioning Tongyuan Bar and suggesting ordering takeout. It was a trendy spot. The restaurant would definitely have a queue, but they made their food seriously, and for large portions, they'd use 2 takeout containers. I looked at him in surprise, not expecting him to also like Jianghu cuisine. Pan Yujing thought I was going to ask why he was a foodie but not fat, so he said he usually worked out after work. I praised him for being impressive and said I didn't have a habit of working out. Pan Yujing said it was a job requirement, and after practicing for so long, it became a hobby. He then asked me what hobbies or habits I had. I paused and said I usually write a bit. Pan Yujing admired people who could write, saying even writing his year-end summary gave him a headache. Last year, he even used AI to write it. He raised his glass to toast me. I smiled and responded, saying I just wrote casually. But inside, I felt a bit awkward. After chatting with him all evening, I felt that, in terms of conversation, emotional intelligence, and self-discipline, I was inferior to him. Without the system, our lives would probably be like two parallel lines. Even with money, I didn't feel like I had suddenly become much better. There was still a lot to learn in the future. Dinner ended, and I declined Pan Yujing's suggestion to have the designated driver take me home first. I found a outdoor seat at a beverage shop in the mall and sat down. It wasn't hot today, and the evening was very cool. I drank some lemon tea, feeling slightly tipsy from the alcohol, and was a bit reluctant to let the evening end. I haven't been working for a long time, but nightlife still counts as staying up late to write. The night scenery remains a mystery to me. I called my high school classmate Zhangqing to find a place to drink. Zhangqing was surprised I was treating. What's up? You're the one inviting me out for drinks? Did someone take over your body? I scolded him. How old are you? Are you coming or not? Zhangqing said. No problem. Where are you? Let's meet up first. I said, I'm in Heshi. I'll send you my location right away. I hung up the phone. I sent the location via WeChat. Zhangqing is usually pretty laid back, unlike me. Zhangqing's family runs a decoration business, with financial status above the average middle class. Below the level of rich second generation, his family made a lot during the real estate boom back then. Though business isn't as good as before, they live much better than the average middle-class family. Zhangqing's job was also arranged by his family. Even if he doesn't go to work, he just stays home playing dungeons. As soon as you said it, I came out. Zhangqing sat down across from me, clamoring, spill it. What's going on? I leaned back in my chair and said, buddy, I sold a novel's copyright. Want to celebrate? You old hand leading the way, no kidding? Zhangqing immediately expressed doubt. But what he saw was me suddenly raising my phone, showing a 7-digit bank account balance on the screen. He instantly changed his attitude, acting respectful but uncaring, patiently watching me put on a show. Go on then, what else is there to say? It's all good, bro. Zhangqing deliberately coughed. Changing the subject, he pointed around. There are plenty of bars here. There's a nice whiskey bar. If you want something livelier. There's an awesome nightclub nearby, but it's expensive. Boss Yang, what do you say? Without hesitation, I said the nightclub. Zhangqing pulled out his phone and said, wow, this place is packed, even more crowded than the ones downtown. Tomorrow isn't a workday, right? No one needs to go to work. The ride-hailing car arrived at the destination. Zhangqing immediately exclaimed. I didn't say anything, but I was also stunned looking at the nightclub entrance. A long queue had formed. A server holding number cards appeared before us. Sir, it's crowded today. The wait is long, you need to take a number. I asked, is there a way to skip the line? The server replied, yes, sir. If you recharge 100,000 yuan to become a super VIP, you'll get an exclusive sofa booth. Before I could speak, Zhangqing, beside me, shook his head at me. I smiled, pulled out my bank card, and asked, should I recharge now? The server quickly bowed, no need, no need. Please follow me. You can recharge after you're seated. With that, he turned around, ready to lead us inside. I glanced at the still-dazed Zhangqing and took the lead. Let's go. Zhangqing snapped out of it and said quietly, no need, bro. Just the two of us can drink somewhere else. I replied, don't panic, it's a rare splurge. I just spent 2 million on a car during the day, and I bought a house a few days ago. Zhangqing, recalling the balance he saw earlier, took a sharp breath. Damn, that must be 8 digits. I snapped my fingers. You bet. And right now, I'm happy for you to think my wealth is even bigger. Zhangqing gave a thumbs up and shouted, Boss Yang, you're awesome. He estimated that his parents had run a company for years, with a net worth of just over 10 million. A single copyright fee from one of my books matched half a lifetime of his parents' hard work. He was genuinely impressed. I pretended to be modest and said, I've been writing books for so many years. It's not too much to enjoy a little, right? Zhangqing nodded. Definitely not too much. The server leading the way listened to our conversation, wanting to laugh but afraid of offending the VIP guests. He could only hold it in. Behind me, the people who were cut in line watched us with envy or disdain as we walked into the nightclub. Behind the door, 6 tall, beautiful women wearing half-face masks stood on both sides of the dim corridor, bowing in unison to me. Welcome, honored guests. A soft fragrance mingled with the purple lighting, creating a hazy sense of intoxication that made one tipsy without alcohol. The nightclub manager, calling himself the deputy manager, took over from the server. He continued leading us toward the hall. Inside, the band was performing energetically on stage, and the dance floor was packed with people. Purple and light blue balloons kept falling from the ceiling, occasionally landing on people's heads. Some people on the dance floor grabbed and popped the balloons. Though the bursting sound couldn't be heard, the instrument's music became the perfect soundtrack. The second floor of the nightclub had several booths with glass walls. The deputy manager, reading the room, said, "Honored guests. Our private room used one-way glass, so people outside couldn't see you." He led us. I swiped my card to pay 100,000, registered my name and phone number, and completed the VIP sign-up. I also added Manager Who on WeChat, and since I'd just added a friend, I got a 10x cashback. I felt the phone in my pants pocket vibrate as I took the iPad menu from Manager Who was crouching by the sofa. I handed it to Zhongqing and said, "You go first." Zhongqing waved his hands repeatedly. "No, today you're the boss. You order first." I took the iPad back without opening it and asked directly, "Manager Who, any good strong drinks you'd recommend?" Manager Who thought for a moment and said, "If you want some lively fun, you can order a bottle of Spade. It's champagne, and comes with a cool pouring ceremony. It also comes with a fruit platter and soft drinks. The bottle costs 8,888, which is pretty shocking." Zhongqing reminded me from the side, "Not bad, it's not too much of a rip-off. Let's get one. We'll start with this. Let's go with it." I nodded and handed the iPad back to Zhongqing. "Want to order some food too?" I'd had steak for dinner and felt pretty full. So I said I wasn't hungry. Zhongqing took it decisively. "Good, that's key. I only had 2 cucumbers for dinner." I teased him, "So you're the one who's hungry?" It's a long story." Zhongqing sighed. Does Zhongqing eat at home? He doesn't cook dinner, just boils some porridge to get by. Today at least I had cucumbers. Yesterday I just had instant noodles. I joked, "Since when does Master Zhang not order takeout?" Zhongqing always said, "That costs money." My money has to be spent where it counts. Even though I was used to his unreliable style, I couldn't help but complain, "What do you know? Dude, my parents don't give me money now. My salary alone is nowhere near enough." Zhongqing leaned back on the sofa and joked, "Did Boss Yang buy a house? Need renovation? Come to me. I'm making extra cash now by referring decoration business for my family." I said, "Don't worry, if I need renovation, I'll definitely call you." As we chatted, a pair of bunny girls holding glowing signs walked past the dance floor. Zhongqing pointed at the line, and I excitedly asked, "Isn't it true that if you order Spade at a club, they announce it to the whole venue?" Zhongqing replied, "You can definitely ask for that, but don't you think it's too much?" I remembered the barbecue place where we ate late-night snacks. The speakers kept blasting song requests. I nodded firmly. True. 2 minutes later, the Atmosphere group arrived outside the room. Manager Who pulled open the door and let them into the room. Colorful fluorescent lights, raised glowing signs, and swaying bunny girls instantly filled my vision. These bunny girls wore shorts shorter than my boxers. Under the strong visual impact, I couldn't help rubbing my eyes, but I felt these bunny girls lacked a certain charm. Zhongqing had already gotten up from the sofa, mingled into the bunny girl line, and was swaying with a good rhythm. I raised my phone to record a video of him when a WeChat message appeared on the screen. "Mr. Yang, are you home yet?" At that moment, I suddenly understood what the bunny girls were missing. I tapped on Pan Yujing's message and typed my reply. "I'm out doing something. Are you home?" Pan Yujing replied quickly. "Yes." "Then take your time. See you the day after tomorrow." "Okay, see you then." I put down my phone. An unremarkable-looking bottle of champagne was already on the long table in front of the sofa, with a matching fruit platter and soft drinks at the corner of the table. Hu Jinli crouched by the sofa and asked, "Mr. Yang, this is the Spade you ordered. Shall I open it now?" I said, "Open it." As the Spade was opened, another round of cheers erupted in the room. "Thank you both for coming. We wish you great success and may everything go your way." After pouring the wine, Hu Jinli said, "Also, the young ladies have prepared a little performance for you two to enjoy." The bunny girls in the room turned off their glowing signs, placed them by the door, walked back to the sofa area, lined up, and started dancing right away. Zhongqing, who had sat back down on the sofa, immediately applauded. Wow, this is the right way to enjoy a club. I smiled, raised my glass, clinked with Zhongqing, and downed it in one gulp. I rarely drank champagne before, so I didn't know good from bad, but at that moment, this glass had a unique flavor. After the dance ended, the bunny girls filed out of the room. Hu Jinli closed the door and asked, "Honored guests, since it's so lively in the venue, some people are definitely interested in meeting you. If anyone wants to come up, is that okay? We can help make introductions. Or we can arrange an atmosphere group to ensure you have a great time." I glanced at Zhongqing for his opinion. He spoke up, "Get a few atmosphere girls. Make sure they're good at playing games." Hu Jinli responded, "Alright, I'll arrange that right away. Any other requests?" Mom, I remembered the masked girls on TV earlier and added, "Can the atmosphere group wear masks too?" Of course, Hu Jinli mimicked a skit line and then exited the room. Trust me, bro, the ones who come to the club to freeload drinks are all gold diggers, real sharp. Rather than letting them take advantage, it's better to play with the atmosphere group. Zhang Chen, those ones didn't mess with you? I didn't mind it. Besides, this is called class, got it? Zhang Chen grabbed a slice of watermelon from the fruit platter and took a big bite. I get your thing. Now even old perverts have to be ranked. Right, no shit. If you make a move, you'd become a god, wouldn't you? Zhang Chen helplessly raised his glass. Fine, you're the cultured one, I can't outtalk you, bro. Let's just drink. As we chatted and laughed, 4 members of the atmosphere group wearing black half-face masks entered the room, led by Hu Jinli. Zhang Chen, who had been teasing me earlier, now surrounded by the masked girls, couldn't help whispering to me. I waved at Hu Jinli. Don't just drink beer, add some more drinks. Hu Jinli grinned. Right away, Mr. Yang, you're generous. The 4 masked girls also chimed in together. Thank you, Mr. Yang, you're generous. Zhang Chen watched me sitting on the sofa like the center of attention and muttered to himself. Damn, you're a natural. I ordered an additional set of foreign liquor worth nearly 4,000 yuan. Along with a champagne combo, the atmosphere in the room grew even livelier. The masked girls eagerly guided me through various drinking games, and from time to time, they used fruit forks to pick up fruit and feed it to me. Although it was a bit awkward at first, after trying it, I indulged without any burden. The only regret was that spending with the VIP card after recharging couldn't trigger the system's cashback repeatedly. It wasn't until the early hours, after we finished all the alcohol in the room, that we left the club, sent off by Hu Jinli and the masked girls. By then, there was no line outside the club. Instead, there were taxis waiting for passengers and more than a dozen people standing by the roadside or sitting on folding bikes, designated drivers. Zhang Chen was clearly drunk, his tongue was slurring. Bro, next time you get a 911 and come drink at the club, definitely don't drive. The designated drivers at the club entrance are all sneaky. If they see you're drunk, they'll definitely jack up the price on you. He said this without caring about the drivers around us. I was about to greet the drivers. He said this without caring about the drivers around us. I was about to greet the drivers. Hu Jinli stepped forward quickly, handing out cigarettes and saying polite words. Next time you want to come, just send me a WeChat message directly. You're too kind, Mr. Yang. It's my honor to serve a generous customer like you. Welcome to come often. Hu Jinli bowed repeatedly. Has your car arrived? Let me see you off. My eyes turned to a Mercedes-Benz E-Class parked by the roadside, with a uniformed driver standing beside it. It's arrived. Alcohol really seems to stimulate the brain. Since getting the system, I'd taken many rides but never demanded a luxury model. But just now, when I called for a ride in the room, I unhesitatingly selected the most expensive option. The driver beside the car opened the rear door and bowed to me. Hello, Mr. Yang. Welcome to ride the executive class car. Hello. I sat down in the back seat of the Mercedes. Waved goodbye to Hu Jinli. Hu Jinli bowed to me again. After getting in the car, I felt thirsty. I casually unscrewed a bottle of imported mineral water from the rear center armrest. The driver returned to the driver's seat. As he started the car, he said warmly, Mr. Yang, the executive car is at your service. Is the temperature inside comfortable for you? Comfortable. I felt the slowly moving Mercedes back seat and said, casually. It felt like the illusion of leaving an internet cafe after an all-nighter. The club was like an internet cafe, you don't feel tired at all while inside. But after leaving, there's a dull, weary feeling. Still, the 1 million cashback was more tangible, even though I didn't sleep until after 4 a.m. after getting home. Yang Xiao still got up before noon. After obtaining the system, his energy was especially abundant. Compared to the past, when he wouldn't get up without the alarm ringing multiple times and needed a large cup of coffee just to survive the day, it was like two different people. The system couldn't change his physique, but what it truly changed was his mindset. Yang Xiao felt full of anticipation for every day ahead. After picking up his phone charging on the nightstand, he saw several WeChat messages. In the family group chat, his parents shared beautiful scenery from their trip. Pan Yujing, who had dinner with him last night, also sent a message in the morning. "Good morning, Mr. Yang." Looking at the message on the screen, Yang Zhao's mood became even brighter, whether it was just a mass message to maintain client relations or not. A young, beautiful, long-legged girl had taken the initiative to message him. It always lifts the spirits, so after sending a few emojis to his parents, Yang Xiao replied to Pan Yujing, "Haha, just woke up." A few seconds later, Pan Yujing responded, "Just like yesterday, actively looking for topics to chat about." Yang Xiao ordered takeout after washing up, typing and chatting with Pan Yujing while waiting for the food to arrive. His typing speed today was noticeably slower than usual. The next morning, Yang Xiao arrived at the 4S store on time. A balloon wall had already been set up. Pan Yujing, along with the store manager and several other staff, stood at the entrance to greet Yang Xiao. She was still in her work uniform today, but held a bouquet of flowers in her hands, and wore a pair of thin, knee-length black stockings, making her legs look even more toned and alluring. Even Yang Xiao couldn't help stealing a few extra glances. Pan Yujing smiled and handed the bouquet to Yang Xiao. "Hello, Mr. Yang. Welcome, let's get your car." "Thanks." Yang Xiao took the flowers with some curiosity and followed Pan Yujing inside, asking, "What's with the flowers?" "Normally, unless the customer explicitly says they don't like flowers, the store prepares them," Pan Yujing explained softly. "But this bouquet was specially ordered by me from a flower shop." Yang Xiao nodded thoughtfully. "Oh, I see. The flowers are beautiful." He had seen several videos online of people picking up luxury cars, but the protagonists in those videos were always women. That had led him to assume that bouquets were only for female car buyers. Pan Yujing beamed. "Thank you. I'm glad you like them." The 4S store had prepared a dedicated side hall for the car delivery, a red Porsche 911, with silver and red balloons neatly arranged on both sides. On the front had sat a teddy bear wearing a silver outfit. Pan Yujing led Yang Xiao up to the car. Finally, standing beside her, she asked, "Mr. Yang, would you mind taking a photo with me?" Yang Xiao smiled. "Of course not." So the two posed in front of the car, and a staff member took several photos with a phone. While posing together, Yang Xiao noticed that Pan Yujing was wearing a new perfume with a citrus scent, somehow perfectly fitting for summer. After the staff member finished taking pictures, they handed the phone to Pan Yujing and left the side hall. Yang Xiao took another look at Pan Yujing, who was selecting photos, and extended an invitation. "Do you have time for dinner tonight?" Pan Yujing immediately looked up and said, "Sure, I can definitely get off work before 5 today." Yang Xiao said, "All right, I'll contact you then." After receiving the group photos Pan Yujing sent via WeChat and completing all the paperwork for the car, Yang Xiao drove the new car with temporary plates out of the 4S store. Even though it was very hot today, once on the road, he didn't hesitate to open the top. With the combination of heat waves and the roar of the engine, his mood grew even brighter. He could even sense the envious glances from some nearby drivers and delivery riders speeding along the road. Too bad it was so hot, otherwise, he would have kept the convertible top open all the way. When closing the top, Yang Xiao couldn't help making sound effects in the car. Zzzzz. He drove aimlessly, burning through most of the already low fuel in the tank, then pulled into a roadside gas station. 98, fill it up. The gas station attendant was clearly used to seeing luxury cars. And after filling the tank, calmly said, "That'll be 738.68 yuan. Okay." Yang Xiao was a bit surprised, paid, and drove away from the station. The gas didn't seem as expensive as he'd imagined. As he was looking for a place to eat, Zhang Qing called. Yang Xiao pulled over into a temporary parking spot on the roadside and pressed the answer button. "Hello?" Zhang Qing's voice was excited. Hey, you got the car, right? Let me treat you to lunch today. And also check out your Targa. Yang Xiao agreed as expected. Sure. Are you at home? I'll come pick you up. Zhang Qing said seriously. Someone as diligent as me? I'm definitely at the office right now. Yang Xiao was unimpressed. Damn, you just clocked in and don't want to take a cab back. So you're calling me to pick you up, right? Zhang Qing fell silent instantly. Despite cursing under his breath, Yang Xiao still drove over to Zhang Qing's company. Zhang Qing was standing outside, holding 2 cups of coffee. As soon as he opened the car door, he exclaimed loudly about the exterior. 552 This is damn cool. Yang Xiao reached out and blocked the seat. 553 You go sit in the back. The passenger seat is only for girls. Zhang Qing looked at the back seat of the 911. 554 A pained expression on his face, he pressed his friend, don't make me beg you. 555 I brought you coffee. Yang Xiao smiled and took a coffee cup from Zhang Qing's hand. 556 He placed it in the only cup holder between the driver's and passenger's seats. Zhang Qing sat in the passenger seat. 557 Looking dumbfounded, he held up his coffee cup. Bro, what about me? 558 Yang Xiao said with a smile, your right-hand side, under the air conditioner vent. 559 There's a pop-out cup holder. Oh, awesome. Zhang Qing popped out the cup holder. 560 Zhang Qing complained, surfing the net this afternoon? After lunch, let's go online. 561 Let's do something tonight. Not going online today, I have plans tonight. 562 Yang Xiao said, this afternoon, let me treat you to a massage. Because sitting for long hours writing. 563 Under the recommendation of other writers in the Qidian author group, he regularly goes to a shop for a massage. 564 To relax his lower back and shoulders. Forget it, your massages are too proper. 565 It hurts when they press. Zhang Qing shook his head and made a bitter face. 566 Bro, nice one. Are you meeting a girl tonight? 567 Yang Xiao smiled and tacitly agreed with Zhang Qing. 568 At 5 p.m., Yang Xiao drove the car back to outside the Porsche 4S store. 569 Pan Yujing, now in casual clothes with a YSR bag slung over her, sat into the passenger seat of the Porsche. 570 Today she wore a black off-shoulder tank top, plus a white shirt with the buttons open. 571 Sleeves rolled up to short sleeves, and denim shorts above the knee. Although she lacked the 40K accessory. 572 She added a bit of playfulness and laziness. As soon as she got in, she said, tomorrow I'm off. 573 Really? Does that mean I can stay out a bit later? Yang Xiao thought. 574 But what he asked was different. Don't you rest on weekends? Pan Yujing explained. 575 No, we rarely rest on weekends because more people come to see cars. 576 Yang Xiao nodded, that makes sense. I was stuck in a habitual mindset. 577 Chatting along the way, Yang Xiao drove into the parking lot of the Jinling Hotel in Xinjiku. 578 He had booked a French restaurant located inside this classic 5-star hotel. 579 After they sat down, they selected 2 set meals with pairing wine. Yang Xiao also ordered an extra bottle. 580 Priced at 5,865 yuan, a 2012 red wine from the Côte de Nuits region. He handed the wine list to the sommelier. 581 The sommelier standing nearby, Pan Yujing asked curiously, where is Côte de Nuits? 582 I've never heard of that place. In the Burgundy region of France, Yang Xiao said with great authority. 583 Burgundy has a place called Côte d'Or, meaning the Golden Slope, but in French shorthand it also means Gold Hill. 584 Maybe the name Gold Hill sounds nicer, so now they all call it Côte d'Or. 585 Côte d'Or is the top wine region in Burgundy, and Côte de Nuits is in the northern part of Côte d'Or. 586 It's most famous for Pinot Noir reds. Before Pan Yujing could reply, the sommelier, who had not yet walked far with the wine list. 587 returned to the table and said respectfully, sorry to interrupt. 588 Sir, what you said is absolutely correct. You must be a wine enthusiast or have traveled to France. 589 Otherwise, you wouldn't know so much about Côte de Nuits. Yang Xiao joked, thank you. 590 But you have to help me prove that I didn't tip you in advance. Hearing this, Pan Yujing. 591 couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh, of course. 592 Check my phone and wallet anytime. The sommelier also responded with a smile. 593 Enjoy your meal. After the sommelier left, Pan Yujing looked at Yang Xiao and said, 594 Mr. Yang, you're so knowledgeable. Yang Xiao pretended to be casual, not really. 595 I thought you'd compliment me on my humor. In his mind, he kept laughing. He never imagined. 596 that information he researched back when writing those live-action novels would ever come in handy. Could it be? 597 that effort pays off? Pan Yujing, sitting across from him, followed along smoothly. 598 alright, let me applaud you. Mr. Yang, you're also very humorous. Yang Xiao said. 599 from now on, no need to call me Mr. Yang. Just call me by my name. A smile. So damn handsome, huh? Yang Xiao reached out and blocked the seat in front. Go sit in the back. The front passenger seat is for girls only. Zhang Qing looked at the back seat of the 911. With a troubled face, he pressed his buddy. Don't make me beg you. I brought you coffee, buddy. Yang Xiao smiled, reached over, and took a coffee cup from Zhang Qing's hand. He placed it in the only cup holder between the driver's seat and the front passenger seat. Zhang Qing sat in the front passenger seat. Holding up his coffee cup in bewilderment, he said, Bro, what about me? Yang Xiao laughed and said, On your right side, under the air vent. There's a pop-out cup holder. Oh, nice. Zhang Qing popped out the cup holder. Zhang Qing complained, going online this afternoon? After eating, we'll go online. We'll have some activities tonight. Not going online today. I have plans tonight. Yang Xiao said, I'll treat you to a massage this afternoon, because I sit for long hours writing. At the Chidian writer group, following the recommendation of other writers, he regularly goes to the shop for a massage. To relax his lower back and shoulders. Forget it, the massages you get are too proper. It hurts so much. Zhang Qing shook his head, making a pained expression. Nice going, bro. You meeting up with a girl tonight? Yang Xiao smiled, tacitly confirming Zhang Qing's words. At 5 p.m., Yang Xiao drove the car back to the outside of the Porsche 4S store right on time. Pan Yujing, now back in casual clothes, carrying a YSR bag, sat into the front passenger seat of the Porsche. Today she wore a black, off-shoulder camisole, plus a white shirt with the buttons open. Sleeves rolled up into short sleeves, and denim shorts that went past the knees, though lacking the 40,000 yuan boost. It added a touch of playfulness and laziness. As soon as she got in the car, she smiled and said, Tomorrow I'm off. Really? Does that mean I can come back later? What Yang Xiao thought was different from what he asked. Aren't you off on weekends? Pan Yujing explained. No, we rarely have weekends off because more people come to see cars on weekends. Yang Xiao nodded, right, I was stuck in habitual thinking. During the casual conversation, Yang Xiao drove into the parking lot of the Jinling Hotel in Xinjiku. The restaurant he had booked for today was a French eatery located in this established 5-star hotel. After they sat down, they selected 2 set meals with wine pairings, and Yang Xiao added another bottle. A bottle of red wine from the Côte de Nuits, 2012 vintage, priced at 5,865 yuan, and then he handed the wine list to the sommelier. The sommelier beside them, Pan Yujing, asked curiously, Where's the Côte de Nuits? I've never heard of that place. In the Burgundy region of France, Yang Xiao said with great authority. Burgundy has a place called Côte d'Or, which means Golden Slope in French, but the abbreviated term also implies Golden Hill. Maybe the name Côte d'Or sounds better, so now it's commonly referred to as that. Côte d'Or is the top wine-producing region in Burgundy, and the Côte de Nuits is located in its northern part. It's most famous for Pinot Noir red wines. Before Pan Yujing could respond, the sommelier, who had picked up the wine list and not yet walked far, returned to the table and said with respect, Sorry to interrupt. Sir, what you said is absolutely correct. You must be a great wine enthusiast or have traveled to France. Otherwise, you wouldn't know the Côte de Nuits so well. Yang Xiao joked, Thank you. But I need you to help me prove that I didn't slip you a tip beforehand. Upon hearing this, Pan Yujing couldn't help covering her mouth and laughing. Haha, that's a must. You can check my phone and wallet. The sommelier also replied with a smile. Enjoy your meal. After the sommelier left, Pan Yujing looked at Yang Xiao and said, Mr. Yang, you're so knowledgeable. Yang Xiao pretended to be nonchalant. It's all right. I thought you'd compliment me on my humor. Inside, he was secretly laughing. He had never expected that the information he had looked up back when he was writing those cheesy novels would come in handy someday. Could it be that this is what they mean by effort pays off? Pan Yujing, sitting across from him, played along and said, All right, I'll give you a round of applause. Mr. Yang, you're also quite humorous. Yang Xiao said. From now on, you don't need to call me Mr. Yang. Just use my name. A smile instantly lit up Pan Yujing's face. Sure. This French meal took a full 3 hours. After the meal, when Yang Xiao settled the bill, a pink refund notification unexpectedly popped up on the system. A date that increased the host's affection with his girlfriend triggered a 50x refund, depositing 421,750 yuan. Yang Xiao couldn't help stroking his chin. This love seemed to be coming a little too fast. So he proactively suggested, how about we go for a walk to help digest the food? Pan Yujing nodded and followed Yang Xiao out of the restaurant. It was already 9:30 in the evening. Plus, tomorrow was a workday, so there weren't many pedestrians on the street. As they crossed the road, their hands naturally linked together. After stepping onto the sidewalk, Pan Yujing pointed with his free left hand toward the giant billboard outside the cinema. Yang Xiao, want to watch a movie? I want to see this one. Yang Xiao glanced at the billboard and nodded. Sure. It was a romance film about the story of the male and female leads after marriage. Before entering the cinema, Yang Xiao went to the restroom and also booked a hotel, a panoramic suite at the Ritz-Carlton. The system notification was still pink. Host paid 6,355 yuan for the hotel suite, triggering a 40x refund. Although Jinling Hotel was very famous locally in Jinling, its style was more business-oriented. The Ritz-Carlton, with its emphasis on service and comfort, better suited his current needs. When the movie ended, Pan Yujing yawned and said to Yang Xiao, I'm so sleepy. Yang Xiao firmly held his hand. Come on, let's find somewhere to rest for a while. On the way to the hotel, the two made a brief stop at a 24-hour convenience store. The moonlight tonight was very soothing. At 12:10 a.m., it happened to be the kickoff time for the European Championship. The stronger teams nowadays, whether due to conservative styles or lack of experience, often played cautiously in the first half. Only after a genius shot turned into a goal could both sides' fighting spirit be ignited. In the second half, they would burst out with astonishing combat power. The trailing side would go all out, while the leading side would fight tooth and nail, both wanting to seize the initiative on the field. The suite was like a large football field. The contest between the two sides would unfold in multiple areas, and physical exhaustion was often significant. At such times, substitute players needed to come on and play their part. When Yang Xiao saw the black stocking slip out of Pan Yujing's bag, whether intentionally or by accident, he knew it was time to go all out. After staying up to watch the match, Yang Xiao slept again until noon. Fortunately, guests of the suite could check out as late as 2 p.m. So the time was still manageable. Hearing the noise, Pan Yujing also woke up. Without any awkwardness, he nibbled on Yang Xiao's cheek, then got out of bed and walked into the bathroom to shower. Yang Xiao looked at the messy suite and shook his head with a smile. The long-term cost-cutting followed by a sudden surge of income was indeed a bit crazy. About 20 minutes later, Pan Yujing, draped in the hotel bathrobe, walked back to the bedroom and muttered as he looked at the clothes on the floor. Ah, the stockings are torn. Yang Xiao couldn't help but laugh. I'll have room service send up lunch. I'll shower first. After we eat, let's go browse at Deji Plaza, Pan Yujing said. Then I'll tidy up the room first. The Ritz-Carlton in Jinling was already connected to Deji Plaza, and there was a direct passage from the hotel to the mall inside the shopping center. After lunch and checking out, the two walked from the hotel passage into Deji Plaza. To Yang Xiao's slight surprise, Pan Yujing didn't intend to stop at the luxury stores on the first floor, but headed toward the panoramic elevator, clearly planning to go upstairs to floors with lower shopping costs. Yang Xiao reached out and stopped him. Let's take a look on the first floor first. If nothing fits, we'll decide then. Pan Yujing shook his head. No need, I usually don't buy such expensive clothes myself. Yang Xiao didn't say anything more and pulled him directly toward the LV store. When they left LV, Pan Yujing looked a bit dazed. A young customer like Yang Xiao was basically the ceiling among his peers that he could encounter. But Yang Xiao's generosity still exceeded his imagination. Besides replacing his black pantyhose, Yang Xiao also bought him a skirt and an 18K gold diamond bracelet priced at 63,000 yuan. He didn't consider himself some naive little girl, but he still wanted to take the relationship seriously, although his income was much higher than the average office workers. Compared to Yang Xiao, it was a world of difference. Whether this love could last remained unknown in his heart. At the same time, an intensely sweet feeling filled his heart. Pan Yujing had also heard his girlfriends share their dating experiences, but the kind of first date after confirming the relationship where gifts worth nearly 100,000 yuan were given, was truly unheard of. Caught between these two emotions, he ultimately decided to just enjoy the present. As for Yang Xiao, he wasn't so sensitive, he just felt that he had vaguely grasped some of the system's patterns. This time at LV, aside from the clothes he bought for himself, the total spent was 87,700 yuan. To test the system, he even paid for the skirt and bracelet he was giving to Pan Yujing separately. But what the system gave was still the basic 5 times cashback. It seemed that purchasing luxury goods was likely capped at 5 times cashback by the system. But right now, his situation was like the ad slogan said. Buying equals earning, so naturally he wouldn't worry about such a small matter. After shopping and eating with Pan Yujing until after dinner, Yang Xiao got his car from the parking lot of the Elf restaurant, drove Pan Yujing home first, and then went home himself. The next morning, he went back to his parents' house to get the car keys, drove the Havel H6 to the high-speed rail station, and picked up Yang Jun and Huang Ping, who had returned from their trip. Yang Xiao stuffed their luggage into the trunk and asked his parents, "Dad, Mom, do you want to go home first? Or come over to my place?" Huang Ping said without hesitation, "Let's go to your place and take a look." "You're always worrying," Yang Jun muttered quietly, leaning lazily back in his seat. But when Yang Xiao drove the car into the neighborhood and parked next to his Porsche 911, Yang Jun perked up instantly. He walked around the gemstone-colored car, carefully examining the wheel hubs and windows, clicking his tongue in admiration. "Man, this car looks really sharp." Yang Xiao pulled the car key out of his pants pocket and handed it to Yang Jun. "Dad, it's my car." Yang Jun's expression changed. "How much did it cost?" 1 million, I got the base model." Yang Xiao glanced at Huang Ping, who seemed about to say something, and spoke first. "My royalty fees have all been paid out. More than I expected, just over 10 million. The editor also said that in the future, they can sign a long-term contract with me, so my royalties will increase." Huang Ping was taken aback for a moment, and didn't remind Yang Xiao to be frugal with money anymore, instead smiling and saying, "That's great. You handle it as you see fit." Yang Xiao continued, "I want to treat everyone to another meal as my housewarming banquet." Huang Ping agreed, "It's time for everyone to get together. I'll invite them in the group chat later." Yang Jun didn't respond, he was already sitting in the driver's seat of the Porsche, gripping the steering wheel. Yang Xiao opened the passenger door, got in, and asked quietly, "Dad, what do you think? Want to get a new car?" Yang Jun's gaze occasionally drifted outside the car, his voice drawn out. "Hey, you'll have to give me time to think it over," Huang Ping said exasperatedly. "Why are you looking at me? If your son wants to spend money on you, I won't object." As she spoke, she started laughing herself. Inside the car, the father and son both laughed happily. Yang Xiao asked Yang Jun, "Dad, do you have a car in mind?" "Oh, I've looked at a few models before, but just looked." Yang Jun thought for a moment, shook his head with a wry smile and said, "If you want me to tell you right now, I really can't say anything specific." Yang Xiao suggested, "How about I arrange it? Get another Porsche?" Yang Jun grinned happily, nodding and rubbing his head, "Just don't be too flashy." After having lunch with his parents, Yang Xiao headed straight to the Porsche 4S dealership. In Zone C2, Pan Yujing, now in her professional work mode, greeted him with a beaming smile. The dealership's general manager was also accompanying them, buying another car. "I want higher spec options," Yang Xiao said directly. "This car is for my dad. When he comes to pick it up, tell him there are no add-ons, it's the base model configuration. Can you do that?" Pan Yujing nodded immediately, "Sure, no problem." Feeling somewhat redundant, the general manager left a few pleasantries and quietly retreated to his office. The dealership had a 24 model Cayenne in stock. After a round of customizing, Yang Xiao managed to raise the base price to 2.56 million. After swiping his card to pay, the system immediately popped up a notification, purchasing a car for father triggers 5 times cashback. Although it triggered the low multiplier again, the 12.8 million cashback instantly allowed Yang Xiao to double his wealth. Every kind of dream was one step closer. Of course, before that, he had other things to do. Time had proven LV's pantyhose were indeed a bit better in quality than regular stockings. After resting and recharging, Yang Xiao drove to a newly opened upscale Chinese restaurant. "Mr. Yang, you'd like to book 2 tables for a housewarming banquet, right?" The restaurant manager received Yang Xiao, poured him tea, and handed him a menu booklet. This is our restaurant's carefully designed banquet menu, with 3 different tiers. Would you like to take a look as a reference? Yang Xiao glanced at the menu with the highest price of 8,881 per table and shook his head without hesitation. I'll order myself. The manager, accustomed to this, put away the small menu. He took out a large menu and said, "All right, this is our menu. You can take a look first." Unless it's a business banquet, almost no one would directly choose their menu. After all, when eating with relatives and friends, there's no need to order too many expensive dishes. Unexpectedly, Yang Zhao's first words caught him off guard. He heard Yang Xiao say, "Start with the matsutake and sea cucumber soup for each person. Give me 22 servings." The manager was taken aback, and quickly picked up the ordering device to record, "Yes, sir." This dish at their restaurant costs 438 yuan per serving, but the price of just this one dish already exceeded the 8,888 yuan meal standard. The manager's mind also quickly raced back to whether he had been inconsiderate in any way when receiving Yang Xiao. Just then, he noticed Yang Xiao flipping through the menu and asking with some dissatisfaction, "Don't you have a higher grade sea cucumber?" The manager quickly stood up and turned the pages for Yang Xiao. "Mr. Yang, I apologize. We don't have many varieties of sea cucumber. However, we do have a special dried abalone made from South African two-head abalone. The price is a bit higher. It needs to be calculated at the market price. Make 22 servings, and prepare 26 or 28 pieces. Two-head abalone should taste good. Anyone who wants more can have an extra serving," Yang Xiao mused. "Please don't be polite. Rest assured, before our boss opened the restaurant, he was in business in South Africa, so the abalone supply is reliable. When the stock is ready, if it's convenient, you can come ahead of time to inspect the goods," the manager said politely. "You ordered the abalone, so you still want the sea cucumber too? Got it. Manager Chen, please stay here, in the parking lot." Yang Xiao said to the restaurant manager who had accompanied him the whole way, "No need to see me off, no need. I'll see you a bit further," Manager Chen said with a full smile. "Is there anything else you need us to pay attention to?" Yang Xiao thought for a moment and said, "On the day of the meal, if you print the menu, don't include the prices. Also, simplify the dish names. Don't write them too detailed. Keep the serving brief. I'm treating my family to dinner, and I don't want to put pressure on everyone." Manager Chen repeatedly said, "Understood, understood." But after Yang Xiao sped off in his 911, he cheerfully walked back to the restaurant, took the elevator to the top floor office. Driving his car, Yang Xiao also had a smile on his face. Last time he treated someone to a meal, he still had some reservations. This time, he completely let loose. Anything on the menu that could be found. Rare delicacies from land and sea, famous and precious dishes, he ordered them all. For 2 tables of food, excluding drinks, the budget directly exceeded 100,000 yuan. The biggest contributor to that was naturally the two-head dried abalone. When Manager Chen quoted the price, based on today's market price, 28 two-head abalones cost over 40,000 yuan. Not only would everyone enjoy the meal, but Yang Zhao's cashback amount would likely be impressive too. Another thing that pleased him was that Manager Chen of the restaurant didn't ask for any deposit, giving Yang Xiao ample trust. But back in the office, Manager Chen's expression now seemed somewhat awkward. "General Manager Lei, I'm sorry. I might have gotten too excited. For such a large order, I should have collected a deposit. It's fine. Not to mention that since I opened, I never made it a rule to collect deposits. Besides, I believe no one would joke around with 100,000 yuan," said General Manager Lei, a middle-aged man sitting in the boss chair. "Even if, worst-case scenario, the customer does back out, I will absolutely not hold you responsible." Manager Chen repeated, "Yes. Thank you, General Manager Lei. I should thank you for bringing this great start to the restaurant. Whether it works out or not, this 100,000 counts as your performance," General Manager Lei said decisively. "As for the dried abalone the customer ordered, I'll instruct procurement to stock up more. Later, invite the customer to come and taste the dishes. Make sure to dispel any concerns. If you encounter such hospitable customers again in the future, you can entertain them on the spot to show our sincerity." Manager Chen nodded repeatedly. "General Manager Lei, thank you for your support. I'll remember that. I've bought the car. Are you going to the dealership to pick it up?" After finalizing the housewarming banquet, Yang Xiao visited his parents' home and brought up the matter of buying a car with Yang Jun. "You go ahead. I've seen those car pickup videos, they take photos and set off firecrackers. People my age don't need to join the fun, Yang Jun said. Just bring the car back when you're done. Yang Xiao was happy with that. Okay. Then I'll pick up the car tomorrow afternoon, just in time to drive you and Mom home from work, Yang Jun said cheerfully. Fine, I'll take the company bus to work tomorrow, Huang Ping teased from the side. Look at you, grinning so wide your mouth is showing, Yang Jun said dismissively. Let it show. I don't care. The next afternoon, Yang Xiao walked back through the balloon arch of the Porsche 4S store. Pan Yujin stood in front of the car. With a smile like a flower, congratulations, Mr. Yang, on picking up your car, Yang Xiao said seriously. Thanks for the invite. First time picking up a car, no experience. Picking up 2 Porsches in a week is really exhausting. Fortunately, he can handle it. Pan Yujin rolled her eyes at Yang Xiao and silently took a selfie with him in front of the car. After killing some time at the dealership, Yang Xiao drove the Qian to the outside of Huang Ping's workplace. After Huang Ping got in the car, she teased, you really don't mind spending money on your dad. Yang Xiao took full responsibility. Mom, whatever you want, just name it. I'm not short on cash now. Huang Ping smiled and shook her head. Hurry up and pick up your dad. It's almost time for him to get off work. Got it. When Yang Xiao drove to the destination, Yang Jun was chatting with a few colleagues. In the security booth, he saw the Porsche Cayenne parked outside with its hazard lights on. When the window rolled down and Yang Zhao's face appeared, he said with great displeasure. Hey, I told my son yesterday that I'd take the company bus home today. But he goes and insists on driving out the new car he bought me, making such a big fuss. How inappropriate. Lao Yang, you're overdoing it, one colleague said with envy. Look at your son, buying you all sorts of things, even a Porsche. My worthless kid, ever since college, only talks to me when he needs money. Otherwise, he treats me like air, another colleague chimed in. Exactly. Lao Yang, don't rub it in, said the security guard. Lao Yang. You're lucky. Heh, I just took it for a spin twice. Stepped on the tires, touched the steering wheel. This car is really mine to drive now. Not just for you to drive, it was bought for you, Yang Xiao laughed. I'll cover the gas from now on too. Drive it without worry. Premium 98 octane. Yang Jun, who never drinks, suddenly flushed red. Alright. Let me try first. See how the Porsche accelerator feels under my foot. After giving up the driver's seat to Yang Jun, Yang Xiao sat in the passenger seat, watching Yang Jun in the driver's seat, curiously touching all the buttons inside the car. This car feels like money well spent. Even though it didn't really cost any money, under the gaze of Yang Jun's colleagues, the Qian slowly pulled onto the main road. When the Qian drove into the neighborhood, it attracted a lot of attention. In this old neighborhood, without an elevator, BBA cars were the absolute top tier in the parking spots. Now, in the whole neighborhood, the only brand new Qian parked in a spot naturally made passing residents. Take a look. As the family walked up the stairs, Yang Jun suddenly remembered to ask. Yang Xiao, I was so happy I forgot to ask. How much did this car cost? Added a few options. Now Qian sales aren't as hot as before, so there's room on price. Just over $1 million and I got it, Yang Xiao joked. Dad, don't look down on it. That's all I could do. Huh, look down on it? In the past, I wouldn't even dare think about it, Yang Jun shook his head and sighed. I used to hear in TV shows that a successful kid comes to collect debts, and a failed one comes to repay kindness. Now it seems that saying isn't entirely right. Yang Xiao smiled. I've been collecting debts from you for so many years. It's time I paid back a little. Looking at the scattered trash in the stairwell corners and the broken, unrepaired stair tiles, Yang Zhao's desire to buy his parents a new house grew stronger. From this car-buying experience, he got an important insight. Rather than discuss backup plans with his parents, it was better to act first and ask later. There were still 3 days until the scheduled housewarming banquet. Yang Xiao received an ingredient invitation from Manager Chen. That noon, he brought Pan Yujin to the restaurant. Manager Chen arranged a private room for Yang Xiao and his companion. To his surprise, 2 double-head dried abalones were also on the ingredient list, along with the other dishes on the menu. All of them were expensive items he had pre-ordered for Qiao Qinyan's 10 o'clock slot. According to Yang Zhao's estimate, this tasting session alone would cost at least several thousand. Using all that for a free tasting was certainly a generous move. No wonder it felt extravagant. Manager Chen led General Manager Lei into the private room. Mr. Yang, this is our restaurant's owner, General Manager Lei. He's very grateful that you chose our restaurant as the venue for Qiao Qianyan and wanted to express his thanks in person. General Manager Lei introduced himself. My name is Lei Mingrui. It's a pleasure to meet a young talent like Mr. Yang. How is the tasting today? Does it suit your palate? The dishes are all excellent. General Manager Lei is truly generous. Yang Xiao stood up and shook hands with him. If you're not busy, why don't we sit down and chat? He wasn't just flattering the other party. The tasting menu today was genuinely thoughtful and made without regard for cost. For example, for the steamed Dongxing spotted grouper, the chef slaughtered a live fish right in front of Yang Xiao and the others. Then he selected the best part of the fish to prepare the dish. The remaining fish meat clearly couldn't be sold anymore. Pan Yujing, who had been sitting across from Yang Xiao, stood up upon hearing this and moved her chair in front of Lei Mingrui, then walked over and sat in the empty seat next to Yang Xiao. Thank you. Lei Mingrui smiled at her. After sitting down, he continued to Yang Xiao, I'm glad you're satisfied with the dishes. I can also assure you that the quality of the dishes on the banquet day will be no less than today's tasting. Thank you, General Manager Lei. Yang Xiao, noticing the man's somewhat accented Mandarin and the oversized diamond-encrusted ring on his left hand, asked. General Manager Lei, I take it you're not just in the restaurant business? That's right. I run a foreign trade business. Now I'm sort of returning to my roots, starting my retirement early, Lei Mingrui said. If it's convenient, let's add each other on WeChat. Maybe we can keep in touch in the future. Yang Xiao nodded. Of course. After they added each other on WeChat, Lei Mingrui exchanged a few more pleasantries with him. Then he left the private room with Manager Chen. After they left, Pan Yujing said in a low voice. Yang Xiao, I think I might have seen this General Manager Lei at Porsche's annual appreciation gala. He was talking with the general manager of Porsche's Asia-Pacific region at the time, and they chatted for a long time. So I have some memory of him. Yang Xiao nodded lightly upon hearing this. But today's tasting alone was enough to show how wealthy the man was. That he could be so approachable wasn't surprising. Still, Yang Xiao didn't care much about the other party's wealth. Instead, he thought, the more friends, the more paths, he might need it someday. 3 days later, Yang Zhao's Qiao Qianyan banquet went off as scheduled. After enjoying a high-end tasting meal, he snuck into the restaurants to buy some drinks. After securing a bottle of 2008 Wuliangye, he wanted to check out the red wines. But Manager Chen hurried over and informed Yang Xiao that the restaurant had prepared red wine, juice, and other beverages for them. Seeing the label on the red wine marked South African Leisure Manor, Yang Xiao couldn't help but wonder. If this red wine was produced from Lei Mingrui's own vineyard, he pushed this trivial thought aside, hoisted Lin Langlang onto his shoulders, and carried him around in circles inside the large private room. Lin Langlang loved this game and laughed nonstop on Yang Zhao's shoulders. Yang Shui stood nearby and asked with a smile, Yang Xiao, now that you've made it big, have you thought about what's next? The matter of selling the copyright for millions. Yang Xiao hadn't kept secret from his relatives. He replied seriously, for now, I'll keep writing novels. When I get the chance, I might consider some stable investments to make money work for me. Yang Shui said helplessly. Little bro, that's not what I'm asking. Yang Xiao then grinned mischievously. I know what you mean. The relationship I'm in now? Well, you're teasing your big sister, aren't you? Yang Shui pretended to be stern but couldn't help giving Yang Xiao a playful punch on the arm. You're pretty fast. When will you bring her out for a meal together? Just us younger folks, call Xiaoyu too. Xiaoyu referred to Yang Zhao's cousin Yu Shanshan. Before Yang Xiao could reply, Lin Langlang burst out laughing. Mom got fooled by uncle. Mom is such a dummy. Yang Xiao heard this and couldn't help turning his head to glance at his nephew. Kids these days were so bold. Sure enough, half a minute later, Lin Langlang was pulled aside to receive some love education. Yang Xiao was temporarily freed. Yu Shanshan walked up at that moment, looking at him with admiration. Bro, can I take a look at your work? Bro, my writing is pretty vulgar. Better not. Worried about exposing the truth, Yang Xiao decisively changed the subject. When does our university start? Yu Shanshan graduated from university this June. He studied at Southeast University for his undergraduate degree and this year he got admitted to Tongji University for graduate studies. He would later go to Shenzhen for his master's. Yu Shanshan said with a hint of pride. Answering honestly, I'll report at the end of August. Yang Xiao nodded. Good, I'll take you there then and hang out for a few days. Yu Shanshan shook his head and said, bro, no need. I can handle it myself. Yang Xiao laughed and said, I know you can. But will they be at ease? Yu Shanshan blinked helplessly at this. While Yang Xiao and the younger generation were chatting, the elders were also sitting on the long sofa in the private room, talking. Their focus of discussion was naturally on Yang Xiao. Hearing the endless praise from relatives for Yang Xiao, Yang Jun and his wife smiled happily until the cold dishes were all served. Everyone gathered around two round tables. Yang Zhao's father suggested. You're the main character today. Don't you want to say a few words? Yang Xiao stood up, raised his glass with a smile, and said, I don't have much to say. Just enjoy the food and drinks. And stay healthy. All right. Everyone raised their glasses. It was officially the start of the meal, but as the hot dishes gradually arrived, curiosity grew in the relatives' smiles. The exquisite cold dishes didn't reveal their price at a glance. But after dishes like grouper, sea cucumber, and lobster came one after another, anyone could tell this meal was expensive. When the braised abalone was served, Yang Shui finally couldn't help asking, bro, this meal must cost a lot, right? It's pricier than usual, but not too outrageous. Mostly just more big dishes. So it looks expensive. When you tally it up, it's actually fine, Yang Xiao said. Besides, I rarely have a vacation, so I'm indulging a little. Yang Shui nodded slightly. Yang Xiao, with a smile on his face, warmly urged the relatives to eat. The differences between lobsters at various price points, such as Boston lobster, were also why Yang Xiao had manager Chen hide the menu in advance. Amid the clinking of glasses in the private room and the lively atmosphere, Yang Xiao took the chance to leave and pay the bill. Manager Chen, waiting outside the private room, immediately approached him. Mr. Yang, how was your meal? Is there anything we can help you with? Yang Xiao nodded and replied, thank you, the food and service were excellent. Please ring up the bill for me. Sure, please follow me. Manager Chen didn't take Yang Xiao to the front desk but led him into his office, then handed him the bill and said, General Manager Lei instructed me before he left work to give you a 10% discount tonight. After the discount, it's 106,200 yuan. We'll also waive the 200 yuan change, so the total is 106,000 yuan. Please check the menu. Okay. Yang Xiao glanced briefly at the bill, slightly surprised. Even the drinks got a discount. General Manager Lei is generous. Thank him for me. Manager Chen smiled and bowed. Everything was understood without words. After Yang Xiao swiped his card, a rebate of 10.6 million yuan was instantly deposited into his bank account. Another hundredfold return. Unlucky today, he chuckled inwardly. After chatting briefly with Manager Chen, he turned and walked back to the private room. Yang Xiao noticed that since he got the system, the rebate multiplier for treating people to meals was quite high. Maybe he should invite friends and family to dinner every now and then. After returning to the private room and sitting down, Huang Ping whispered to him, did you go pay the bill? Yang Xiao said softly, already paid. Then he picked up his phone and sent a message of thanks to Lei Mingrui. 10,000 yuan might not mean much to Lei Mingrui, but receiving a favor from someone naturally required acknowledging the kindness. The amount didn't matter. The day after the dinner, at noon, while eating leftovers from last night's takeaway at home, Yang Xiao received a WeChat message from Zhangqing, bro, treat me to a meal. Though he didn't mind treating his friend, Yang Zhao's first reaction was to send a question mark. Zhangqing persistently added, bro, you know, it's the end of the month. Little Zhang here is broke. He was a total spendthrift. Back when his parents gave him an allowance, he could live a bit more comfortably. Now, relying solely on his salary, he naturally can't make ends meet. Yang Xiao continued typing. Call me dad. Zhangqing still had some dignity, but not much. Uncle Yang. Yang Xiao knew when to stop. Alright. I found a really great restaurant. We'll eat there tonight. The restaurant is near my place, you can cab over. Zhangqing replied after a moment of silence. Sorry, I don't have money for a cab anymore. Yang Xiao drove his 911 to pick up Zhangqing later that evening and complained. Seriously, you don't even have a few dozen bucks for a cab? Zhangqing sighed, looking up at the sky. Ah, I dumped it all into a game yesterday. Yang Xiao kept complaining. Then take the bus. Would taking the bus dirty your Highness Zhang's ass? Zhangqing slumped in the passenger seat, frantically shaking his head. Damn, too lazy. I'd have to walk to the subway station. Yang Xiao scoffed. I'm not freeloading your meal either. Zhang Qing knew he was being a bit over the top and awkwardly scratched his head. I'll take you to KTV for drinks tonight. What are two guys gonna do at KTV? Then let's find a bar and call it a day. Yang Xiao asked curiously, and you have money? Don't worry. Buddy has a card at KTV. No drinking on Friday, life's a wasted ride. Zhang Qing fiddled with his phone. And don't worry about people, I'll round them up right now. A couple of them are our old high school classmates, you might know them too. Yang Xiao said sarcastically. Truly worthy of you. After dinner, Zhang Qing guided Yang Xiao to park the car. In the outdoor parking lot of the KTV, as they walked into the place, a male server rushed up to Zhang Qing and said, Bro, everything's set, the usual booth. Zhang Qing asked loudly, Alright, anyone here yet? The server replied. Two gentlemen just arrived, I had a colleague take them to the booth first. Okay, let's head over. Zhang Qing nodded and walked straight into the KTV without needing the server to lead. Yang Xiao hesitated for a moment before following. In the large booth, the two who arrived early were already singing. When they saw Zhang Qing push open the door, they both stood up to greet him. Qing Ji, hey, sit down. This is my buddy Yang Xiao. We were in the same class in high school. After greeting them, Zhang Qing introduced Yang Xiao. This is Qinghao and Wang Wei, the classmates I told you about. They were both in class 6 in high school. Just go ahead. He turned to the server and said, same as usual. Start with a 4-bottle set. The server immediately nodded. Sure thing, bro. Yang Xiao greeted Qinghao and Wang Wei, then sat down on the sofa. To be honest, he barely remembered them. But luckily, they all went to the same school, so they could always find common ground. After a round of reminiscing about youth, my buddy is something, he bought a 911 on his own. Qinghao was instantly impressed, straightened his clothes, and greeted again, Xiao Ji. Wang Wei even stood up and cupped his hands, saying, Xiao Ji, I might have been a bit loud just now. Don't mind it. Yang Xiao laughed as he looked at the two goofballs. We all went to the same school, why so formal? Zhang Qing chimed in with jokes. Remember you two bastards, in high school basketball, you stole our court. With the conversation opened up, they talked more and more enthusiastically. The other friends Zhang Qing invited also trickled into the booth. These people included both guys and girls, and though they knew each other, they weren't close, so they sat in small groups chatting. But everyone gave face to Zhang Qing as the host of the drinking party, and several girls took turns clinking glasses with him. The guys also found chances to sit beside him and chat. Yang Xiao sat next to Zhang Qing, occasionally chatting and drinking with Qinghao and Wang Wei, enjoying himself. Buddy, don't just sit here drinking quietly. Seeing this, Zhang Qing whispered to Yang Xiao. Bro, this party is for you. All the girls I called today are single, how about it? See anyone you like? Same age, opposite sex? Just relax and have fun, man. Zhang Qing misunderstood and put his arm around Yang Xiao's shoulder. Here, let's play some games first. Get familiar, and you'll be fine. Since Zhang Qing put it that way, Yang Xiao had no reason to refuse. After a few rounds of common KTV games, Yang Xiao finally remembered the names of the girls in the booth. As the games went on, the original seating order was broken up. Now Yang Xiao was surrounded by girls. Considering Zhang Qing was hosting the games, it was hard to say this wasn't rigged. A girl with long hair and a pink short-sleeve shirt asked, Yang Xiao, I heard Boss Zhang say you drive a Porsche 911? Yang Xiao weighed the keys in his hand, saying, yeah, but now I kind of regret it. The 911 has stiff steering and a stiff throttle, not as comfortable for daily driving as the Cayenne. Another girl sitting next to the long-haired girl pressed, you also have a Cayenne? I bought that Cayenne for my dad with a two-tone paint job. I really love it. Yang Xiao flipped through the photos on his phone of picking up the car, adding, it matches the blue interior perfectly. Wow, you bought your dad a Porsche? The long-haired girl exclaimed. The most expensive thing I've ever bought for my dad is a deer leather belt, Yang Xiao said, taking a sip of his drink. It's not about how much you spend, everyone's filial devotion is the same, the long-haired girl chimed in. Exactly, another girl teased, now that sounds like something a rich person would say. These two were named Chen Lina and Chen Mengmeng. They were close friends, both women. They were both pretty, but the bridges of their noses looked a bit stiff, as if they were products from the same clinic. As for modified cars, Yang Xiao wasn't very interested. What actually caught his attention was a girl sitting at the corner of the sofa. Named Xiaoyun. She had a full figure and a face with a touch of world weariness. Paired with short hair, giving her a unique appeal. But she didn't engage much in the conversation in the room. Most of the time she only talked to the girl sitting next to her, seeming a bit introverted. Yang Xiao was just here to have fun casually, without any immediate plans to strike up a conversation. So he chatted freely with the other girls around him. At that point, Chen Mengmeng asked. One of my close friends told me the back seat of the 911 isn't that narrow. She sat in it once and said it was okay. Is that really true? Yang Xiao guided. Hard to say. Anyway, I've never sat in the back while someone was in the front, Chen Mengmeng suggested. After we wrap up, if you take Boss Zhang home, she can sit in the back. No way. The back seat is for the designated driver's bike, and the front is even less spacious. Yang Xiao smiled, glancing toward Zhang Chen. If she could curl into a ball, she might squeeze into the trunk. As soon as he said that, the girls around burst into laughter. Chen Mengmeng looked at Zhang Chen's increasingly horizontal figure, covered her mouth and laughed. I think you're just trying to make trouble for my boss Zhang. Unaware of what was going on, Zhang Chen raised his glass in their direction. As Yang Xiao raised his glass in response, he also saw Zhang Chen subtly gesturing at him. He smiled and winked back at Zhang Chen. When the group had been playing until past 2 a.m., they had already finished all the drinks in the room. Several karaoke enthusiasts holding microphones were also at the point of exhaustion. Someone suggested grabbing a late-night snack. Zhang Chen, as the organizer of tonight's KTV, said bluntly. Folks, looking at me won't help. You don't think I still have money for a late-night meal at the end of the month, do you? If Yang Xiao hadn't picked me up today, I wouldn't even have been able to leave the house. Amid the laughter, Yang Xiao took over and said, I'll cover it. Let's just find the nearest place. Tonight's gathering was indeed set up for him by Zhang Chen. During the games, he kept pushing Yang Xiao toward the girls, inevitably neglecting the other male friends. Put yourself in their shoes. When you go out drinking, who doesn't want to chat more with the opposite sex? They were only brought here by Zhang Chen as background props. Even if it didn't cost them money, they might not feel great about it. As for Yang Xiao himself, he naturally couldn't care less about their opinions. After all, many of them might only meet once in a lifetime, but Zhang Chen would still have dealings with these people in the future. To avoid making things awkward for his buddy, Yang Xiao voluntarily took on the bill for this late-night meal. After all, he wasn't short on cash. Alright, that's my man. In front of so many people, Zhang Chen naturally wouldn't object or undermine Yang Xiao. Quick, say thank you to Boss Yang. Thank you, Boss Yang. Amid the synchronized cheers, the group arrived at a crawfish restaurant across from the KTV. First, 30 pounds of crawfish. We'll add more if that's not enough. I want all 4 flavors you have. Yang Xiao looked at the menu and said to the owner, for cold dishes and stir-fries, just go with your judgment. For seafood like scallops and oysters, just base it on the number of people, we have 12 here. Also, for skewers and such, serve 1 round of each type. We'll add more if we need to. The late-night big order made the owner happy. Hey, you guys take a seat first. There's an air-conditioned room inside. I'll have someone show you there. Okay. Yang Xiao nodded and turned to Zhang Chen. Grab whatever you want to drink yourselves. If you can still handle it, get a few more cases of beer. Don't be shy, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Damn, bro, with you here, I've got so much face. His friends also cast at Yang Xiao envious and admiring glances. This late-night meal cost at least a few thousand. Yang Xiao didn't know them before, but he did this purely to help Zhangqing. No wonder they're about the same age. Someone else can drive a Porsche. This is true loyalty, being a backdrop for someone like this. Everyone just accepts it. Besides, there were many girls tonight, all unmarried young men. Who doesn't want to pay the bill with style in front of girls? But a tight wallet means only dry envy. Yang Xiao smiled and said, you all take a seat first. I'll go buy something at the convenience store next door. With that, he walked into the convenience store. Bought a few packs of soft huazi. After the 350 yuan deduction, the system displayed text. Host treats friends on behalf of another. Meets friendship cashback conditions. Get 10x cashback. Huh, that works too? Looking at the 3,500 yuan credit record, Yang Xiao smiled and put away his phone. Although he didn't care about this small money anymore, having cashback, why not? When he returned to the crawfish restaurant and distributed the cigarettes to Chen Hao and the others, the guys present looked at him with extreme enthusiasm. The slight resentment of being a backdrop completely vanished. Yang Xiao glanced at the main seat reserved for him, sat down, and chatted with those around him, while watching a Dota 2 livestream, waiting for the food to arrive. Wow, you're still watching the game? Zhang Qin looked at his phone screen and suddenly said, wait a minute. I think Xia Yun also plays Dota 2, right? Yang Zhao's gaze then shifted to Xia Yun,